Good evening, warm welcome back. This being the last session of the Sanjeevani, but by no means the last connection. Yesterday, there's the aspect of creation, and actually interesting that there is similar inquiry going on in the field of spirituality and science. And Max Planck put it this way, that science cannot solve the ultimate mystery of nature. And he puts it this way, because in the last analysis, we ourselves are a part of the mystery that we're trying to solve. So what was mentioned in the session yesterday, we need new information and new knowledge. And this is seeing how we travel as souls, start off as the invisible travelers that know we have a primary world, the natural nobility, and then we come down and the way things changed going through the clans. And I also appreciate this T.S. Eliot. He said, we shall not cease from exploration, and at the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. And it sort of resonates on many levels. So it's quite reassuring. It's actually a return journey. So we'll see how the details, also where is this knowledge coming from, and some of the aspects that were touched on yesterday about this amazing time of transformation that we can see very much happening on many levels. And very welcome to come into camera. If you're in a position to do that, would be great. And as always, your comments, questions. Welcome, and handing over to Prashant. Good evening.
Thank you, and hello, and welcome, and appreciate your perseverance. We mentioned those who complete all these sessions, they definitely deserve a certificate. So we will organize something like this. We'll quickly create a few minutes of experience. And during these minutes, the game here is full light, full clarity. The word paras gives us permission for full light. The entire chaos is because of the darkness. In full light, we are able to see things the way they are. If it's a story, we see it as a story. If it's a film, we see it as a film. And we are able to see the world beyond the film. The true universe is not the film. Film is a fiction. And the audience is beyond the film. We ourselves, we are understanding these souls, they are the audience. Prashant is part of the film. That's why the term invisible witness, he wakes up to realize he exists. In full light, he wakes up. In darkness, he is not even aware he exists. In darkness, he is asleep. And when he wakes up, it is like a biggest lottery. he discovers his life is with God. It is a family of God. World of perfection, world of immortality, Ravan-free world, which means nothing inauspicious. Everyone here, they are divine beings, desireless, egoless, sorrowless. That's why biggest prize anyone can ever win. Invisible witness. For him, it is normal to be invisible presence. And beyond harm, nothing can harm him. What a thing to realize. Many things happen, but nothing can harm him, even the slightest. That film is a separate thing. The film can end also, and it doesn't affect him. His life with God and that world, that is all that matters. As we continue on our journey, we remember the immensely beautiful truth of everyone. Understand the immense value of this light, full light. Darkness changes heaven into hell. World is still the same, they all are still there. Just bring darkness and it creates the Iron Age. Bring light, it creates the Golden Age. Thank you. It will be nice to hear any thoughts from you and any questions. This is like a nice opportunity over any of the, now we are getting the overview of the whole thing. So that is nice. Quick recap about the essence of what we are speaking here. What we are reminding ourselves, this extraordinary truth of everyone. Universe is positive. All are naturally positive, natural state. They don't need cakes to be happy. They all are beings of happiness and love. Each and every one. This applies to humans, animals, all souls. They are immortal. And here is the family of God. World of Ram. But just like in our 24 hours, there is day and night. In the same way, here also, there is this factor of day and night. And all that happens in this journey, as the darkness increases, these angelic princes, this is not an exaggeration, they are angelic princes, divine beings. They go through these phases. They are getting impressed with this world of images. in this foreign world, there are things glitter and gold. They're impressed. When they were in light, they were not deceived by this. So they get impressed. Then what happens next? Golden deer, they get into attachment. They want to own it. They become dependent. You show some toy in a child, maybe a baby. You show something, monkey, something making sound, monkey toy. He will say, be impressed. Next thing is he will put out his hand. He wants that toy. So now he becomes dependent. He gets trapped. Dependent means getting trapped. He is deceived. And when he reaches at this point, he doesn't even know he is deceived, means he is unconscious. As that level of darkness increases, darkness of ignorance, he is unconscious. All of this is a factor of confusion. To get himself getting trapped means there is a confusion, which is all ignorance, darkness of ignorance. He doesn't even know that he is the prince. He doesn't know he is the soul. He doesn't know of his world, so he is unconscious. And what happens when he is unconscious? Do you want to tell? When he himself is unconscious, this is the story of all. We say, Brahmin, warrior, merchant, Shudra, these different phases. This is the journey of this angelic prince, going through these different phases.
So he becomes ignorant, he becomes unhappy. The
Ignorance
body
is the
conscious.
cause.
Okay,
Ignorance.
controlled by others, by nature.
When he's unconscious, the next level is his enemy, that is Ravan. He becomes the king of his mind and of his life. Enemy, just like if an enemy was to rule your town, it is not a good news. He is not thinking about you. He will, he will. He is free to destroy what he doesn't want even. So also here, the Ravan is the enemy, which is ego. Ego is embodiment of ignorance, and he is in charge of life. And that is why you will find people are not in a rush to change their lives, because Ravan is not in a rush. He wants a little peace and little less stress. he attends programs, stress-free living, but he doesn't want to remove Ravan. Life continues, but underneath, the real player is deceived. He has become trapped. He is confused. He is unconscious. If any of your friends was to get any of these things, if your friend is deceived, his friend is trapped, is confused, is unconscious, you will see it as an emergency. You want to attend to it very quickly. Here, this is what is happening to all the players, and no one knows anything except for Ram. And the whole situation is like this. All 8 billion, all these citas are in such a state. And what we saw over the different sessions is this journey, what has happened to us in more details we have seen. And now is the answer to how we can come out of this. Most important factor in coming out of this, that invisible prince has to become conscious. Remember yesterday we said, even though we are hearing the details, make the main thing the main thing. And main thing we say, every minute you are paying attention to this, making the invisible prince conscious. Get the accuracy of it. Just thinking of the soul is not conscious, but understand what it means to be conscious. And if he is conscious, the game changes. Ravan cannot remove Ravan, but the angel can remove the demon. We don't have many options, either ego-based effort or soul-based effort. So if you pay this special attention to the first subject, getting the invisible angelic prince conscious, know also what it means. Words are simple, but some of the recordings and all will clarify. Getting the quality right, and writing this sentence down. Only the angel can defeat Ravan. Ravan will not defeat Ravan. Ravan can create lots of spiritual efforts running around and all, but will not do the real thing, what needs to be done. But this angel is the one who is your, that is you and your friend. Now we are coming to subject of today, and Confluence age. We are going to discuss on that. Let us try and understand some phenomena about the souls. We speak about the souls, and we have discussed a little bit more details about the soul. There is no reference to soul. Can you believe this? In the entire medical curriculum, no reference. They might make a joke on this, but that is what the Patthar system is. And here we are seeing that here is the main player, one who are, we can see how the consciousness affects the body also. And consciousness is not in the molecules. So details, knowing a little bit more about the soul. When does he come in the body? This knowledge says he comes in the body in the womb. And what time in the womb he comes? At the time of, some people say at the time of conception, some say at the time of birth, some say somewhere something else. What time does he come in the womb? What is your guess? Some of you have the experience of being the mother. What is your guess? What time the soul comes in the...
Someone is saying 3 months, 16 weeks, another suggestion. When the movement starts, about 20 weeks.
Yeah, movement. And that word, in English, it is called quickening. That happens between the 12 weeks and 20 weeks, actually, yeah. And that is possible. And one lady told me she was 100 days pregnant, and she saw the light. She was lying down. She saw the light near the ceiling. It was a bit unusual light. a bit like alive light, And next thing she saw, that light came towards her, entered the abdomen, and she felt the movement of the baby. And so she was telling me, this baby, I saw her soul, and she was 100 days pregnant. It was a in vitro, means, test tube baby. So she knew when that ovum was implanted in her. Mm. Another lady, mother, she told me when there was this quickening, and she did not know about the soul and all. But from that time onwards, she has another kind of it changed her personality a little bit. She wanted to eat certain kind of tomatoes. Normally, she is not fussy about tomatoes, but she wants to eat these raw tomatoes. And certain things, she said, changed her personality. And that boy was now, at that time, this 5, 6 year old boy. And she says this boy likes those tomatoes. He was born, and after this boy, he likes those tomatoes. So what does this tell you? When this soul came in her system, that soul is influencing the mind to some level. That soul is he has sanskaras of eating tomatoes, and this lady wants to eat tomatoes. And that quickening is the time when that soul came in. This is with the large majority of ordinary mortals. What happens with the prophet souls? And Sarah, want to add anything, or are there any comments?
Just someone sharing personal experience of being pregnant that started to detest the smell of non-vegetarian food. That's interesting.
And worth checking if the baby is having similar sanskars, worth checking this. It is possible, that is what the influence is. So now the prophet souls, there is a difference how the prophet souls come in the physical world. And what is observed, at this knowledge, what does this knowledge say? Say there is a person, and this man, he is called Jesus, let us say, prophet. And with that is the body, and let us say the name of the soul is Jesus. And we are just to differentiate. At the age of 30, sudden transformation took place in him. And this knowledge says that sudden transformation took place because another soul, separate soul, came in the body. And this soul has come from the soul world directly. Jesus may be not coming from the soul world. He may be having earlier lives also. But at this point, the prophet soul comes in that body. And from that moment onwards, these two souls are playing the part together. This is what this knowledge says. This is the way prophetic incarnations happen. The prophet soul has come directly from the soul world. So deep inside, he's a blueprint. Soul consciousness is 100%. And he has got all the attachments, Ravan department is 0. That is why there is power in the prophet souls. There is clarity, and there is the task. They are able to carry out a certain task. Their heart is in the right place. They love, and they experience that happiness. They think clearly compared to everyone else. They can do miracles because souls are masters of matter, and they establish a religion. It is not so easy just to someone comes with some ideas and suddenly millions of people follow. That is not a it is not a political movement. Here, things happen in a extraordinary way. And so with prophets, this knowledge says a new soul comes in the body. And because that is a new soul, powerful soul, the other soul is also there, but this powerful soul, it carries out most of the relevant actions that these are carried out by the prophet soul. Other soul we can call human soul. Now, surprisingly, if you go into Christianity of first century up to the first 100 years of Christianity, you will find that they speak the same things. They use the word divine soul. He came in the body of Christ, and they said that is why it is called virgin birth. We will give you, if you read history of Christianity, you will get these details. Here in Cambridge, we got a College of Divinity, and some their staff there, they come sometimes to in a space, and when they hear this, that there is a divine soul comes, they say, yes, this is what is written in their early Christianity. Early Christianity means it is closer to Christianity. It means it is coming later on. People have interfered with the scriptures. So that is the concept, divine soul. They also say last words on cross. This is they say in the Christian books. Last words on cross. Do you know what were the last words on cross from Christ? Anyone knows?
It might take a moment to type, but it's quite revealing. So, oh God, why did you leave? Why did you leave me?
That's right. Yeah. Why hast thou forsaken me? And they say that these words are not the words of the prophet, because he prophet, it is having power, he says, forgive them, they don't know what they are doing. And suddenly, why hast thou forsaken? It says that there's a doubt in those words. And what possibly happened, they say, that the divine soul, he carries out his actions as much as possible. But when it is finished and the body is going to die, he was able to leave the body. He doesn't need to, he has no attachments. Whereas the human soul, he was having this great time with the prophet soul, and suddenly prophet soul has left. He is on the cross, and he's the one, the human words, why hast thou forsaken me? So that is about Christ. But if you see history of others, the one we see as prophets, Buddha, and until the age of 30, he was Gautam. He was not a prophet. At the age of 30, sudden transformation. You come to Muhammad, he himself is to say, Archangel Gabriel, Angel Gabriel is using his body. He himself is to say. Come to recent days, recent prophets, Aurobindo. Aurobindo was in Cambridge, was connected to the university. And when he went back to India, he was in politics, anti-British movement, but on the radical right spectrum of politics. And he was in the, like seen as a terrorist by British. He was in blacklist. At the age of 30, he was not interested in politics. He left the British India, went to Pondicherry, spending lots of time in meditation, and established ashram, and there are many people followers of Aurobindo. At the age of 30, Vivekananda, many have heard these names. Again, you will see the magic happened around the age of 30. And in time, the people see there is he's different, and some words people were using about Vivekananda. Those who from different countries, those who saw him, met him, cardinals, in USA, Chicago conference of religious conference at that time, 1890s, in the conference. Cardinals, Catholic cardinals, they were saying, this one is not from this planet. He is different. He is not human. These were the words uttered from people who saw him. And, not because what his philosophy, but the soul is a new soul, and playing that prophetic part. This is interesting to know this phenomena that two souls can play the part together in the same body. And then after the death, they both continue separately. They may continue together, but they continue to play the parts separately. And the prophet soul continues in the task of establishment. What he started, he continues. Usually the part of the saint, he becomes one prominent saint. But this is where our speculation comes in. After Christ, the next big man in the establishment of Christianity is Saint Paul, and Saint Paul was born after Christ left the body. So there may be connection there, but as I say, it is a speculation. But that is in principle. Whoever, like Buddha, that soul, he is the one who has real insight of the religion, not his disciples. Deeply convinced. They usually die young. Vivekananda also died young, but they continue in the task of establishment subsequently. And Sarah, want to add anything?
Well, a question arises, would you be able to say if there is any reference of this phenomena in the different faith traditions that have been mentioned that would help kind of grasp?
Christianity, there is reference. Early Christianity, we will also give you the references, and is that right? In G Drive, possibly these references are there.
Yeah, we can add a reference to history of Western philosophy. I think this helps. Yeah.
All of this brings us to the confluence age. We were talking about new knowledge comes in, and we said new knowledge, where does it come from? New knowledge can only come from the new incarnation. And if we want the true knowledge, And that the only soul who has the true knowledge is the Supreme Soul. And many, we might think that Supreme Soul, he lives there. We all have different way of understanding this. But very fact that he is praised and remembered, and there are, people have gratitude and they thank him and worship him. He must have done something in the past. And that is why there is a memorial. Say if there is a cardiac surgeon, very, very good cardiac surgeon, but he stays at home and doesn't do any surgery. Never has done any surgery, just stays at home, but he's a great cardiac surgeon. Will you thank him? Will you praise him for being a great surgeon? Will you even know that he exists? He might know that he's a great surgeon. No one else might even know that he exists. Same here also. Here is Supreme Soul. And has wisdom. He can free Sita from the situation. He can defeat Ravan. He is powerful, wisest, and highest, and holiest. That's so great, But if he's just in the home, no one would even think of God. He plays the part, and that is what he can express what he knows. And that exactly what happens. He does come at a physical level. There is a time of his incarnation at a physical level. And his incarnation is so also the incarnation of all the prophets during their lifetime is incognito. As we are seeing, even with Christ, he was taken to cross, which means if they knew who he was at that time, they won't have taken him to cross. Today, there are 2.5 billion, can you believe this? 2.5 billion souls are celebrating his birth, and possibly rest of the world is also celebrating in some form. That is billions. But during his time, they were not celebrating his presence. Large majority was not. Very few recognized him. Same happens with anyone and any of these prophets. During their time, very few recognize. Largely, it remains incognito. Seed remains incognito. The tree comes gradually, and then you see fruits and flowers afterwards. Yes, so the incarnation of God also happens something similar. And the history of Brahma Kumaris is the history of this incarnation. It all started in the year 1936. So I'm going to tell you just a brief history of this. And the body in which the incarnation happened, and the name used was, at that time, the name was Dada Lekraj. Later, he was called Brahma. Spiritual name was Brahma. That Dada Lekraj was the name in his Lokik life. And how did that happen? No, he himself did not know what is happening. So he was around the age of 60 years at that time. So that's the difference. Others, the incarnation happens at the age of 30. In this case, it was 60. And And he starts getting visions of heaven, visions of God, visions of the future, his future, visions of deities, also destruction, different visions. And to get a vision is seen as a big thing in a religious tradition. This was in northern India, and he was from the Hindu background. His city was Hyderabad in Sindh, which is now part of Pakistan. And so this was in 1936, before partition of India. And so getting visions is a big thing. He did not know what to make of it. And then he would notice that he just looks at someone, they would go into trance, and they would sort of disappear, And then after 10 minutes, 15 minutes, they come back to awareness. And he asks them, what did you see? They say, I saw God, I saw heaven, I saw Krishna. And this would happen quite often. Lots of people would be going into trance, getting visions, getting dreams. So this period, 1936 to 1938, almost 2 years, this was like a huge, that city of Hyderabad. This was like a dominant drama that was going on. Hundreds of people were coming, and many were getting these visions. And then he realized that when he was speaking, he was not talking of his ideas. They were new ideas, different ideas. And he would be sitting with others trying to make sense of these ideas. They were contrary to his original ideas. And as time progressed during that period, it became clear to him. He was told that his body is being used by God. It is a time of big transformation. The Iron Age is to end, Golden Age is to start, and all that he can do, and the highest thing he can do, is just to surrender. Drop all your plans. You might be having your plans of some family sort of planning, or your ideas of adventures. You drop, surrender, use your mind, your life for God. And it is now the time of God's duty for the planet Earth. So this is he was having that power to surrender, and he surrendered fully to that. And his mind, body, wealth, everything was used for the task of God. He himself was called Brahma. It was like a new life for him. In 1938, they moved to Karachi, which was a different city, about maybe 100 miles from the other city. And around 500 others moved there. You get an idea, in such a short time, 500 people, they left their homes and their whole structure. They just moved to a different place. Didn't want to anything to do with the old life. If over there, possibly there were many more, but 500 wanted to just move and create a spiritual future life in a very short time. There was, of course, huge opposition from the community relations. Those who are not understanding this, there was opposition. There is a huge drama around that. Court cases also, because people, they were saying, someone is my wife and someone is my, as if they have right on them, and but that is the way it started. From that time onwards until 1950, they stayed in that campus in Karachi. And what used to happen, the prophetic incarnation or divine God incarnation, we use the word Shiv Baba to the Supreme Soul. And to the human soul, we use the word Brahma, understand? So sometimes just the word Baba is used, and the word Baba is used to that Supreme Soul. And at a certain time in the morning, Baba would be speaking through that body. And whatever that was spoken by Baba, that was called Murli. Just like some Christians might call it sermon, or someone might say lecture, but this was like the Murli. The reason Murli was used, the word Murli just means flute. And for those who were listening, it was like a recital. Thirsty souls who were into this last phase of that journey, want to come out of this burden of Ravan. This knowledge, it was like music into their ears. So that's why they used the word Murli for this. And we still are using the word Murli. So there are books, you can hear and you can read Murlis that were spoken by Baba through. So what we heard over the last all these days, that is a knowledge based upon Murlis. The source of this Sanjeevani, what we covered, is Murli. And this part continued of Shiv Baba speaking through the body of Brahma. That part continued. In 1950s, they moved to India from Karachi, and they established in the Aravalli Mountains and in the area of Mount Abu, Rajasthan. At that time, very remote village, but that was the idea, to stay in that place, and the ashram, to establish the ashram there. 1950s in Mount Abu. Murlis continued, studies continued. This is around the time. By now, that they're more than 14 years, they have been studying knowledge, and they were staying together with Baba. They decided they will leave. Different people left Madhuban, moved to different cities, established centers, and knowledge spread, went in different parts of India, in Bharat. Bharat is India, different cities in India. And by 1970s, it moved outside of Bharat, mainly started with London and then other countries. It was mentioned 120 countries now. Started in 1950s. This Bharat Seva, Bharat Service. In 1969, Brahma Baba, by then he was 93 years of age, he left the body. Means, the body dies. So when he left body, they were not done. They did not know what to expect. How will Baba come? Where will they get the Murli? Until then, everything was Baba was fully in charge. He was the one who was coordinating administration, also the whole commander of this army to defeat Ravan, and knowledge, everything was coming from Baba. And so in 1990, in the year 1969, January, they suddenly, Brahma Baba left body. And 3 days later, one of the senior yogi, her name is Dadi Gulzar, and she is a trance messenger. This is another thing that happens in the institution. There are some who are trance messengers. They leave the body, they go to the subtle region, they bring the message from Baba. So Dadi Gulzar, had gone into trance message three days later, and Baba came in the body of Dadi Gulzar, and Baba spoke the Murli again, and that continued through Dadi Gulzar. Baba continued to speak the Murli, and that part continued until recently. Dadi Gulzar left body in year 20, possibly 21, something like this, 21 or 22. This sort of time Dadi Gulzar, she was herself more than 90 years of age by that time, or something close, that sort of age. Baba's part continues, that is a promise. It is more incognito, the part. We have the Murlis that were spoken all this time. The message is very short time is remaining, and it is now the time of transformation. It will be nice to hear from you, and also from Sarah.
Yeah, it's so good to get the context and the practical aspects. And actually, a lot of the stories are very revealing about how things are done, and also the effect on the community at the time, that each time has its own significance, and we're in a different time now. Perhaps one question comes up. What is the aim in this transformation? Is it to become enlightened?
The aim is for us to become 100% soul conscious, to become free from Ravan. The word that is used for that is karmatit. That's the word that is used to describe that achievement. And like this, there is no trace of false identity within the system. Naturally and full time.
That helps, because the word enlightenment has a slightly different connotation, or as a tradition. Yes. There are not any questions right now. There may be more coming.
So, we get an idea of what the confluence age is. We have spoken, new knowledge comes, and new insights about the way the world is, who we are. And it can be nice information at one level. This is here completely different insights about, like, including who we are, this kind of thing. But the real aim of this whole incarnation, Baba's incarnation, what Baba offers is a secret of how to win over Maya. And when we say Maya, it is Maya and Ravan together. There is a secret understood. If anyone on this planet manages to win over Maya, he wins the world. Means he becomes lucky. This is like an inner laboratory. Let us see if you can do this. Stop Maya's mischief. And as was said, Maya, that is all the Ravans hates. They all want to run in different directions. The mind is going in all direction. And Baba is the master of this. Ram is the master. He knows Maya to start with. He knows Ravan. He knows the whole game. Like people in the world so innocently, like a zombie, they don't even know what is happening here. And here you understand this game. Understanding is very good as a information, knowledge, and notes. But if someone takes it to the next level, makes use of this information to literally gain victory over Maya, then you are very, very lucky. And we are seeing, there is a journey of the soul, and in the journey of the soul, he, to be lucky is always good. But lucky through the cycle, that is what it means. You win the world. It is not just being some president somewhere, but you become lucky through the cycle. Big secret. If you want to make others lucky, show them this secret. Let them know the secret. This is something worth writing down. Those who win over Maya, they win the world.
And it's a finite time. So it's interesting when we see this mapped onto the wheel of time. We've been in the company of the programming of Ravan and Maya for a long time. But this confluence age, in fact, there's a question here about this. This is a short time to, as if restart, come back to the true identity and to finish this period of confusion, come back to the truth of the self as a invisible traveler. Someone is asking, what is the time span of the confluence age?
Enough to know that we are coming very close. And we said part of the confluence age is a time of Vinash forces. And if you see what is happening on the planet, it appears that we are into that phase already. You just need to hear some news. What is people are threatening each other to burn their cities. The language itself gives an idea of which time we are in. So this is those who keep that awareness. That time is very, very short. They are lucky here, and they will not be deceived. They will never regret. those who feel there may be lots of time, there is more room, they will be deceived. There will be regret, those who think that way. At the present time, whoever, in this whole world, whoever understands this knowledge and puts it into practice, he will never have regrets. As time progresses, he will feel that he is prepared for anything. More you are investing into this world, and as time progresses, there will be regrets. I was thinking to show the slides. This may be a good time to see the slides.
Yes.
Our aim is today understanding the Confluence age and also the institution, as we said, history of Brahma Kumaris is history of Shiv Baba. It is Shiv Baba who establishes this institution. Institution is around this Murli and the knowledge. And in Bhakti, in religious tradition of Hindu, Shiva is seen as the highest Godhead. The reason it is remembered like this, because at the present time, he plays that part. That's why then they show some, all the religions and mythology, it goes into all expansion and often off the tangent. But the part is played incognito. Part is played by the soul. And end result of that down the line will be golden age and salvation for all the souls. Victory. There is a victory over Ram. Ram comes, there is definitely victory for everyone over Ram. Yes, we'll see
There are a couple of questions that have come through meanwhile, which we could take now or later.
Now we'll deal with it.
Yeah. Appreciating the question, how can one avoid fear when making effort to win over Maya? Fear, for example, having a short time, fear of God, will I make it, etc.
Fear comes only from ego, as we know. And the soul will not be having fear. The soul is immortal. He got nothing to lose. He's a guest. As we take the steps, 1 day, 2 days, 4 days, 1 week, the ego is getting smaller. And as ego gets smaller, fear also becomes smaller.
What strikes me about hearing from you is your genuine interest in this refined effort, but it's also with lightness. It's not to say that it's not serious, but there's a balance there as well that I observe, and I feel this is also useful to mention. It's like excited about the motivation, and underneath the backwind is being recognizing the beautiful truth and finding it fun. You mentioned that sometimes, and we get that feeling when we meet yogis who are on the path, and the sustainable energy. So it's serious, but it's also path of being, as they say, double light. So yeah, that wanted to bring that up as well. But yes, ego, good to know it. That's what ego will feel like that. And that's also okay. Another question here. So can one become karmatit while fulfilling several worldly roles? Do you actually have to leave everything and withdraw like Dada Lake Raj and that early period where the 500 souls did that?
For any drama, it is like drama is a story. Story goes on in one situation or another. Even for Brahma Baba, there was story that was going on. It was not something that he can step back and be on his own. No, there were so many things to do also. So that continues. Whilst everything is going on, we have the option to pay attention and getting the highest consciousness in place. We experiment with it. In time, maybe the situations will change, but to start with wherever we are, to get inner life right.
Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you. Should we go to the slides now?
Yeah.
So here are some images which just give a little flavor. Prashant would like to share through. Right.
Yeah, some of you might have seen these images. This is Brahma Baba, possibly in 1960s. This is another scene, you see, gatherings, small gatherings, different gatherings. And one next to Baba, Baba is sitting there. And next to him, you can see Mama there. Mama was another, prominent character during the early days, who was right hand of Brahma Baba. Again, different photographs gives you a feel of the place and the time. You also see that a large majority of these participants were female, and that is one reason why the institution is called Brahma Kumaris. Kumaris is a feminine name. There were men, but majority was women. Here in this photograph, you see Mama on the right side, and on the left side is Dadi Kumarika. And in time, she became the instrument that after Brahma Baba left body, she was the main instrument to coordinate the institution. This is same Dadi Kumarika. We are seeing her photograph. This is Dadi Janki, and some of you might have met her. Her base was in London for many years. She was the instrument for the activities outside of India and also in India. This is a gathering of, we use the word family from London. And in the early days, the Tennyson Road was the place of the center. And you see here that is Janki in the front, and Sudesh Didi is also there. Maureen is there, Vadi is there. You might recognize some. This possibly was in late 1970s, something like 78. I won't be surprised, 78, 79, around that time. This is a scene from Madhuban. From Madhuban, as was said, it is in the mountains, northwest of India, Lancashire of India. Inner space inauguration and in London, Regent Street, that was like you see Brahmins visiting. Nearby, there is a rock, a mountain, where many times we go there, and there is a evening sunset meditation that happens. That rock is called Baba's Rock. This is the Madhuban campus itself, Tower of Peace. That is what is called that area, and sometimes the organized meditations are arranged here. This is the beginning of another area where now it is much bigger. The campus, it is called Gyan Sarovar. It is about maybe 3 miles distance from the original campus, Madhuban. So it will be nice if we meet in groups and meet again afterwards.
Yes, the question we could create time for to begin discussion. What is the significance of the Confluence Age? What is the journey to becoming Karmatit? That be okay?
Yeah, sounds nice.
So we put that in the chat, that starting questions. So enjoy. We'll be able to meet back in just over 10 minutes. Thank you.
In this model, Ravan represents ignorance. So Ravan means ignorance. It is personified. There is no soul or living real being called Ravan. It is a personified ego, personified ignorance. So Ravan remains Ravan, in other words. Is that your question? And did I answer?
So Anamit can unmute also, or are you welcome to
Sorry,
type?
I was not able to unmute myself. But yes, I understood now that is the role that Ravan has to do. So it cannot be changed. That is Ravan's role on the stage.
Yeah.
Right. I got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
In this, when we were talking about that story, we said it is a psychodrama, which means there are different things happening in each one, different functions happening, and they are personified. They are given a name as if there is that helps us understand what is happening in the mind of each one. So there is no one there as Maya and no one there as Ravan, but these are personified functions. Also wanted to hear from Marie-Christine, if obviously are familiar with the Murlis and familiar with the knowledge also. For those who are not familiar, it is certainly a nice thing to to explore. Here we are talking, they are the direct words coming from the Supreme Soul, and there is a secret within it. And they are useful for any human being. And we all start with where we are, and we are not Paras on the first day. But as you start to process, everything opens up. It is like a different omens of Jupiter starts. But certainly encouragement to create time to study Murlis. Whichever you find there are questions come, maybe the language, words, and concepts. And our centers are there to help understand. We are there to clarify anything. This process of the victory over Ravan, that is seen as a central thing. And for the world, our planet Earth and the civilization, that is the great thing that can happen, where the soul is free from this illness of ego, and create a community, create a society that is free from ego and Ravan. So that is the whole aim here. And all the best in this journey. Omens of Jupiter. That's a nice word for us to remember.
We'll be sharing, there are different resources, and we'll be sharing details of a group WhatsApp with like daily recordings, short meditations, few minutes to help practice this, even if it's a couple of minutes of real quality every day. Of course, we want to make it like more a sort of a natural state, but quality, starting with quality, then quantity follows. And so we'll be sharing resources, and we meet usually around once a month for advanced retreats online, and other activities that come up we can keep in touch. So just look out for the email and check the spam. There's always sometimes things go in there. So, yeah. Yes, so we'll share that WhatsApp group for meditation. Also, there are drop-in sessions from 5 o'clock UK time, which may be a little bit like morning time for Canada, but yeah, a little bit later for Netherlands. So, Prashant, anything final to share?
We will be hearing the Murli from Baba directly. Baba speaking through Dadi Gulzar. We will hear just a little experience of it. And the more we remain soul conscious, we'll be able to grasp the subtlety behind everything that is happening. And there is, of course, everyone has opportunity to visit Madhuban and see the way things happened. That opportunity is there. Of course, there is system. There's those who follow the lifestyle and study the knowledge for some period of time. But it is also something nice to aim for in the journey of spiritual progress.
Yeah, and connecting locally for that procedure, and being able to connect locally to contribute also the local community. So yeah, well, that's a few minutes, this experiential listening to words from Bapdada directly. So listen for a few minutes.
अभी एक सेकंड में Api. Kadimai. Api kadisi. Nyari. Sakadi. Sonera kadiste timeste tode.
Welcome back. Seem to have gone blurry here. Gave me a family feeling somehow. We still have a few minutes, and I don't know if what Vishal wants to share, but I was thinking, would you like to share your own experience, this phenomena of meeting Baba and Madhaban, if there's anything you think would be nice to share with the group?
Me sharing. Is
Yeah.
that what?
Yes, if you think you would like to, or
I can share one experience. Not since in the 80s there were personal meetings, and there were opportunities to hear, meet, and understand the soul that was using the body. Quite a phenomena for us to think that something of this kind is possible, and it was happening. So there are many personal messages that were heard, but I'll share one experience during my early days. There was one friend, Brahmin, and he was with us in the group meeting Baba. And Baba used to meet each one for sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes longer even. And then Baba used to give Toli, and he used to go, and next one is to come. And in one such meeting, after Baba spoke with him, and when it is time to go, he asked Baba, any message for my son? And I knew him quite well, but I did not know that he had a son even. And so in a completely different country, he's from this country, and we are talking about a remote place in India. And in Baba's style, Baba sort of stays in little silence, steps back a little, and then Baba said, he needs dawa. Dawa means medicine, and dua means blessings. And then Baba said, create an atmosphere of meditation at home that will help him, and gave some insights, something more, which I don't remember. And Baba said, Hisab Kitab, so some past account, karmic account. And so that was then, and he left, and then there was some others meeting Baba. I was there, it was in our group. Some months later, I happened to be in that town, and I happened to visit this brother, his house. And when I visited, his son was at the door, and he was mentally handicapped, and he loves you, he wants to be with you, he want to hold you. And I could sort of see what was happening here in the household, and also remembered what Baba had spoken about him. And speaking to his mother, and that time, and both parents, mother and father, they were explaining how when they create yoga at home, he calms down. If their stage is not right, he is disturbed. And they are sort of practicing what they were told, and they were saying how it sort of, at a practical taking benefit from it. But what was relevant for me is Baba doesn't say he knows everything and he's not trying to show magic or say miracles. That is not his priority. He's coming to give knowledge. He wants you to win over Maya. That is Baba's goal. But you also know, everyone knew that Baba knew everything. Whoever is in front, Baba knew their background or what is past, future, he knew, and then he would be speaking to them. And if anything asked, Baba could see what is the context and could answer. That used to happen.
It's lovely to get these personal stories, to get the flavor of practical application of knowledge, love, high vision, and also the teacher relationship, but the father also, the parent, this empowerment that any parent feels sort of comes across, certainly my experience. We can finish shortly with a song inspired by the knowledge. As I say, we'll be in touch with the details, and there'll be a retreat, I think, in another couple of weeks online, or maybe 3 weeks. And Prashant has anything to add?
Yes, all the best. The omens of Jupiter have already started, and continue with under the omens of Jupiter. All the best.
Thank you so much, and really big gratitude to everyone's contribution, just your presence, interest, and we'll be staying in touch. Enjoy this song. Thank you.
You whisper all the secrets. You say it's just a play. You are the one, unchanging, the light that shows the way. You never take a birth. No time can make you fade. Beyond the earth, beyond the sky, your love will never change. Oh, we remember who we are. We shine, we are stars, we are souls, playing out our roles in this eternal drama. Life goes on and on. Our silence home is far beyond. We go there at the end. No two souls are ever the same. That's why there's no one to blame. It's just a game that we play. Yet all belong to you. Each a spark, a sacred flame. Oh, we remember who we are. We shine, we are stars, we are souls, playing out our roles in this eternal drama. Life goes on and on. Our silence home is far beyond. We go there at the end. And when the night is near its end, a cycle near complete, you disappear. earthly stage where we all souls can meet. Oh, we remember who we are. We shine, we are stars, we are souls playing out our roles in this eternal drama. Life goes on and on. Our silence haunts far beyond. We go there at the end. We travel to our silence home with you, our lovely friend.